Hi, you're reading this story for a reason. It wasn't a smudge of lipstick. It wasn't the absence of an earring or a whiff of unfamiliar perfume. It was a crinkled receipt tucked into the side pocket of my wife's car. Green Pines Motel, room 212, time-stamped 10:04 a.m., paid in cash. Beside it sat an empty iced coffee cup. She'd left the car unlocked again, something she only does when distracted or hiding something. 12 hours earlier, she stood in our kitchen doorway, tossing her keys onto the counter like she was the one wronged. "I'm so sick of your jealousy," she snapped, grabbing her phone. "I slept at my sister's. Happy now?" I stayed silent as she stormed off to the bedroom, slamming the door behind her before furiously typing away. Funny thing is, her sister lives 2 states over and recently underwent foot surgery. Yet somehow she's become the perfect alibi. That night, sleep eluded me. My skin crawled with unspoken truths. In a moment of weakness, I crept outside in the rain while she lay passed out. I opened her car door and found it, the receipt, room 212. $89.99 for a single bed. 2 guests checked in. No more guessing games, just cold confirmation. I folded the paper slowly and slipped it into my pocket. Not to confront her yet, but to remind myself I wasn't imagining things. The next morning, I made her coffee as usual. Neither of us spoke. Then came the slip-up that broke the silence. As she brushed her hair in the hallway mirror, she muttered, "Oh, by the way, if you're still suspicious, call my sister." That did it. Standing behind her, I whispered, "Didn't know your sister stays in motels." Her hand froze mid-stroke. Her reflection locked eyes with mine in the mirror. No excuses, no denials, just a faint tremble in her fingers. That's when it hit me. She wasn't afraid of losing me. She feared I might already be gone. And here's the strangest part. It wasn't anger that washed over me. It was that hollow emptiness that precedes a panic attack, where even your own breath feels foreign. She stared at the motel keycard in my hand like it had burned her. "Where did you get that?" she demanded, voice cracking under the weight of guilt. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Her composure shattered right there. Let me clarify something. I'm not brave. I triple-check locks, apologize to mannequins I accidentally bump into, and, until recently, convinced myself loving her harder would fix everything. But love isn't gravity. It can't anchor someone who's drifting towards someone else. This keycard from Sunville Motel, room 104, surfaced during laundry day when the couch cushions shifted. I hadn't been searching for evidence. I was looking for a missing sock. Instead, I uncovered clarity. So no, I wasn't jealous anymore. I was simply informed. I asked her again, "Was it your sister's place?" She blinked rapidly. "Yes, and I don't appreciate you going through my things." I nodded slowly. "Odd that your sister keeps vending machines in her living room." Then I pulled out a small receipt for a $3.25 energy drink printed under the motel's name. Her hands began to tremble. "You're overreacting." "Yeah," I muttered. "And you've been practicing that excuse in front of a mirror with someone else, haven't you?" She froze, her face flushing red, then pale, then red again. In that moment, I saw something more unsettling than guilt: calculation. She wasn't trying to fix this. She was gauging how much I knew. So I said it calmly, no yelling, no anger. "I parked across the street. I watched you." A lie. I hadn't watched, couldn't bring myself to, but I said it anyway. The way her mouth fell open told me everything. She thought I'd seen her. What terrified her most wasn't being caught. It was realizing I hadn't come to confront her. I came home. I gave her the choice to lie, and she did. What followed wasn't shouting or fireworks. It was worse. She turned around, walked into our bedroom, and closed the door. I stood there holding a key card to a room I'd never enter for a woman I'd already lost. The silence the next morning was suffocating. She made her coffee as if nothing had happened. 2 sugars, oat milk, the chipped blue mug she always pretended not to notice. From across the table, I tried to recognize the person I married, but all I saw was someone pretending, stirring her drink like she hadn't burned everything down the night before. I didn't ask anything. I just watched. She didn't offer a word, not an apology, not even a pretense of regret. That silence hurt more than the motel key ever could. At 9:08 a.m., she left for work, mentioning a late team meeting. I nodded dumbly, and she kissed my forehead like I was a child. Then she walked out the door. For the first time, I didn't say, "I love you back." 10 minutes later, I noticed her phone on the entryway table, forgotten in her rush. My gut told me to leave it alone, to tell myself I wasn't the kind of man who snooped or spied. But then again, she wasn't the woman I thought shared my bed either, so I picked it up. No passcode. Was it arrogance, forgetfulness, or maybe she wanted me to find it, too cowardly to admit the truth aloud? Her messages were eerily clean, too clean, except for one thread: Tyler Jim. My heart raced before I even opened it. It wasn't some dramatic confession. It was colder than that. Practical, detached. Same place tonight? Yes, I'll grab the key again. He suspects, but he's too soft. He won't do anything. Cool, I'll bring wine. Get the cheaper one. He won't even notice it's gone. I dropped the phone as if it had scalded my hand. She hadn't just lied. She'd planned everything, assuming I wouldn't resist, that I'd simply give up, that I was controllable. The betrayal itself didn't shatter me. It was being underestimated. I took screenshots of everything, not to send, not yet. I wasn't sure what I'd do with them. Maybe I just needed evidence, proof that I wasn't losing my mind, that the chill in our home had a source, a face, and a smug little signature. I sat on the floor, still clutching her phone, when the screen lit up again. A new message from him. "Wear the black one. You know how much I hate when you dress like his wife." I didn't cry or shout. I only whispered the thought burning through me. Then don't be my wife. I didn't eat that day, didn't shower, didn't budge from the hallway floor for hours. Her phone lay beside me like a cursed artifact, glowing intermittently with new messages from Tyler, each one driving another nail into a coffin already sealed shut. Around 5 p.m., the front door opened. She strolled in humming a tune I didn't recognize, oblivious to the wreckage she'd caused. The click of her heels stopped abruptly when she saw me sitting there, holding her phone. Her expression didn't twist into guilt or fear, just froze, pale and lifeless. "You left your phone?" I said, my voice raspy, like dust coated my throat. She didn't respond right away. Her hand hovered near her purse as though ready to flee. "I wasn't snooping," I added. A lie. A small, human lie. I'd read every message 3 times over. It buzzed again. I glanced at it. Still nothing from her. Just the faint sound of her breathing, quick and shallow. "Finally," she whispered, "you weren't supposed to see any of that." No apology, no denial, just regret that I'd found out. I stood slowly, my knees cracking under the weight of all she'd destroyed. "I'm soft, huh?" I said, waving her phone slightly. "That's what you tell him? That I won't fight back?" Her eyes flickered, torn between pleading and lying. "You don't understand," she finally said. "You've always been so distant." I laughed then, actually laughed. Distant? I worked double shifts for 6 months to help pay off your loans. I haven't bought new shoes in 2 years so you could indulge in that candle-making class you abandoned after 2 weeks. "That's not fair," she shot back, stepping closer, now defensive.
"No," I replied, my voice eerily calm, even to me. "I'm not some martyr."
"But I am the man who begged you to talk to me while you were sneaking off to cheap motels with someone too cheap to buy decent wine." She flinched at that. "Kel," she murmured, her tone softening, "please, we can fix this. It was just a phase." "It didn't mean stop," I told her. "Don't insult us both." I brushed past her, snatching my keys. I wasn't sure where I was headed, maybe nowhere, maybe everywhere, but I needed space. I had to leave before the walls closed in. She grabbed my arm. "Don't go," she pleaded, "not like this." I met her gaze and said, "Then maybe you should have left differently." I didn't drive far, just to an old baseball field we used to frequent. Summer nights, melting ice cream, laughter. It all felt like a distant echo now. A graveyard of moments I never asked to bury. I sat there, engine off, watching shadows crawl across the grass. My phone buzzed once, then again, 10 calls in total, all from her. Then a text, "Please come home. We need to talk. I'm sorry." Moments later, another message lit up the screen. "You left the front door unlocked. Come back." My heart raced, not from fear, but recognition. She still saw me as the man I'd been a week ago, the one who'd rush back, forgive easily, sleep in the guest room for a night or two, then make pancakes to smooth things over. She didn't realize something inside me had shifted. It wasn't anger, it was clarity. The kind that comes when you stop gasping for air and realize you've been swimming the wrong way all along. I drove home. She was waiting by the door, barefoot, makeup streaked down her face, trying, and failing, to look remorseful. Her mascara had dried into jagged lines. She probably thought it made her look fragile. "I'm glad you're back," she murmured, arms wrapped tightly around herself. "I didn't come back for you," I replied. "I came back for my laptop." That shattered her act. Her eyes widened. "What?" "I booked a room at Sunrise Inn, not your usual spot, a different one." I moved past her into the living room. "I need time alone to think." "No," she shot back quickly. "You can't just leave like this. We need to work through this." I laughed bitterly. "There hasn't been a we for a long time, Claire. You chose someone else, over and over." She shook her head. "I didn't choose him. It wasn't serious. It was an escape." That word, escape, hit me hard, as if our life together was a cage she needed to break free from. "I offered help, Claire." "I asked if you were okay. You said you were just tired." I grabbed my bag. "I didn't realize you meant tired of me." She blocked the doorway. "You're blowing this out of proportion. We can fix this. We've been together 8 years." I glanced at her hand on the doorknob, the same hand that texts about cheap wine and dismissive jokes, and laughed at my own naivety. "You had 8 years to fix it, Claire. Instead, you spent the last 3 months tearing it apart." Her lip trembled. She stepped aside. I opened the door, then paused. "You weren't supposed to get caught, were you?" I asked. She stayed silent. I left her standing there in the hallway, heavy with regret, and no one left to deceive. It had only been half a day since I walked out, but it felt like years. The motel room wasn't much. Yellowed light, a humming AC, the faint chemical tang of cleaner masking the stories those walls had absorbed. Fitting, I thought, this cheap imitation of cleanliness hiding layers of betrayal. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring blankly. My phone buzzed repeatedly. Ignoring it was easy. I already knew who it was. Claire's messages cycled from silence to panic, guilt, then back again. Each text felt like another brick I refused to carry. It was strange how quickly my sadness morphed into something sharper. Not anger, not yet, but clarity. I'd been living in a narrative she controlled without my knowledge, and now I was finally piecing together the footnotes. That night I gave in and opened her texts.
Can we talk? Leaving doesn't fix anything.
You're being cruel. Then came the kicker. I didn't sleep with him last night, I swear. That last line churned my stomach. Not I didn't sleep with him, just not last night. She was rewriting reality sentence by sentence. At 2:17 a.m., I logged into our shared account, not spying, okay, maybe spying, and searched for answers. A name, a number, anything to give shape to the ghost haunting me. Under Tyler, I found calls linked to a contact labeled M Contractor. Hours logged over weeks, always after midnight while I slept obliviously. Out of curiosity or desperation, I dialed it. One ring, then voicemail. A gravelly voice said, "You know what to do." No warmth, no identity, just cold finality. Suddenly, the motel walls seemed suffocating. Sleep eluded me. Every recent moment replayed in slow motion. The long showers, her sudden fitness kick, the flinch when I kissed her neck last Tuesday. At 5 a.m., an unknown number texted me, "Don't call this phone." No explanation, no signature. I stared at the screen until sunlight bled through the curtains. Was it him? Her? Did it matter? By 6 a.m., I packed up and left. But instead of going home, I went to her office. I wasn't that kind of person, the type to show up uninvited, to stir drama. But I needed to see her, somewhere raw, unguarded. I waited in the parking lot, hidden behind a tree. At 8:41 a.m., she arrived, wearing the black coat I'd once complimented, the same one from the photo Tyler sent her weeks ago, the one I stumbled upon hidden in her deleted messages, the one where she wore nothing underneath. She stepped out of the car, adjusted her makeup in the mirror, then smiled, that practiced, polished smile. It wasn't for me, and that's when it hit me. She wasn't ashamed. She was just careful. Until now. She called me the next night. I didn't answer at first. I let it ring out to voicemail. Then again. Then a third time. I stared at the phone like it might explode. Part of me didn't want to hear her voice. Another part needed to know what excuse she'd try next. On the fourth call, I answered but stayed silent. I just listened. "Calvin," she breathed, "please don't hang up. I know you're angry. I know I hurt you, but I swear it wasn't supposed to be this way. I was lonely. You were always working, always tired." I felt invisible. The moment she said invisible, something inside me shattered, because I had been invisible too. Invisible when she came home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. Invisible when I cooked dinner and she barely looked up from her phone. Invisible when I begged her to go to counseling and she laughed it off. "You want to talk about invisible?" I finally said. "I learned your favorite wine from a motel receipt, Claire." She started crying, or maybe pretending to. I couldn't tell anymore. It didn't matter. "It didn't mean anything," she whispered. I almost laughed. That tired, soul-crushing line. If it didn't mean anything, why did she do it over and over? Why did she save his number under a fake name? Why did she tell him I wouldn't fight back? And then my voice cracked. "You could have just left me," I said. "You didn't have to humiliate me." She sniffled. "I didn't want to lose what we had." "You already did." There was silence, heavy, long. Then she asked, "Can we meet? Just talk face to face?" I hesitated. A fractured part of me still hoped she'd look me in the eye and confess, not cry, not twist the blame, but own it. So I said yes. We met at a coffee shop near her office. She showed up wearing the scarf I bought her last Christmas. She smiled like we were old friends catching up. I sat across from her, hands clenched in my lap, barely able to meet her gaze. "I miss you," she said softly.
I miss us." That's when I placed my phone on the table. "You sure about that?" I asked. Because what she didn't know was that the moment she suggested meeting, I called a friend who worked at her office. He owed me a favor and gave me more than a confession, a security timestamp. Yesterday, while I sat in my car watching her walk into the building at 8:41 a.m., someone else swiped in using her guest pass minutes later. Male, 6'1", black hoodie, the same guy she swore she'd ended things with. They went in together at 8:53 a.m. "I know about Monday," I said. Her face fell, her lips parted, but I didn't need to hear another word. I rose to my feet. "I'm done letting you twist my thoughts," I said, and turned to leave. The worst part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was that even caught red-handed, she still tried to manipulate me. 6 weeks have passed since I walked out of that cafe, and I haven't seen her since. A few more messages came through, some sorrowful, some bitter. One contained a photo of the keychain I'd given her from our Oregon trip. But eventually, the silence stretched long enough for her to realize I wasn't returning. Last Friday, the divorce papers were signed. I expected to feel hollow, but instead, I felt lighter, as if a weight had lifted. I still don't know exactly when the love faded. Maybe it didn't happen all at once. Perhaps it slipped away gradually, every time she smiled at her phone during dinner, or dismissed my concerns with, "You're overthinking things," or brushed past me like I was invisible. Love doesn't always shatter loudly. Sometimes it just quietly slips through your fingers while you're desperately trying to hold on. But here's what surprised me. Healing feels nothing like I imagined.
It's not about revenge or proving her wrong. It's cooking dinner alone in my apartment, a record spinning softly in the background, no one mocking my music choices. It's laughing freely again, truly laughing at a movie without wondering if she's faking enjoyment. It's waking up without dread, feeling like I can breathe again. It's not perfect. I still question myself, still lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering why I wasn't enough. But more and more, I see the truth. Her actions weren't a reflection of my worth. They revealed her own emptiness. And that burden isn't mine to carry anymore. Yes, I left shattered, but I'm piecing together something stronger, something real, something that doesn't require secrets or lies disguised as excuses. Someday, if anyone asks what happened between us, I'll say this: she was searching for something. I stopped pretending to be it. What moment in this story resonates with you? Have you ever faced such blatant dishonesty that walking away was the only way to reclaim yourself? Share your experience. Someone out there might need to hear your voice.